Before we dive into our rad new ep, we want to acknowledge the traditional owners on the land on which we record, the Wurundjeri people. We pay our respects to elders past and present and to the ongoing living culture of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people.
What's up and welcome to Girls Gotta Work podcast. I'm Jordan and I'm a hot mess.
And I'm Hayleigh, a recovering awkward person.
And we are your go-to girls for talking about the rad, the bad, and the mad reality of running a business.
Go grab a coffee, kick up your feet, and enjoy today's episode.
Welcome to yet another episode of Girls Gotta Work. It's going to be a bit different one today because, believe it or not, we have been jumping on the mic for a whole year. Can you believe it?
Yeah, we have. Part of me is like, yes. And then part of me is like, what the fuck? How is this year going? Like, holy shit.
I feel like I'm sitting in exactly the same spot when we first were on Zoom sort of chatting about, oh my God, we can do a podcast. And we registered a business name and did all of that in like, what, a 2-hour Zoom call over a glass of wine. Like, I'm in exactly the same spot. I'm in the same desk. I'm in the same room. And I'm like, I feel like we just had that conversation. I feel like it has been no time at all. But as we'll get into, we've done so much in the last year. Like, yeah, holy shit. I'm amazed.
Yeah, it's been amazing. Amazed, excited.
All the things.
Overwhelmed. Sometimes overwhelmed, I guess.
Well, I think that plays in perfectly to what we're talking about today, because obviously we want to celebrate a little bit, like a year in business. We all know a year in business is like the hardest year to overcome. Like, so many businesses don't make it past the first year, and not that that means your business is any less or anything like that. Like, you still did an amazing thing by starting a business, but I think we just really want to celebrate a year in business, like, and also talk about, as we do with all topics we've spoken about, is talk about the rad, the bad, and the mad of the year that was, and what we're looking forward to for the next year and the year after, and where we want to take this little business that we're both so invested in now.
Yeah, let's jump into it.
Let's just jump right in. All right.
Yeah, I guess so. I don't really know what to say, which is weird. I should be more practiced, but I'm like, I'm shy now.
I'm shy. It's been a year. I'm done.
Not done, guys. That's
done for like this intro. Holy shit, this is off to a bad start. So Hayleigh, I want to handball straight over to you because I feel like I've just spoken for the entirety of my morning so far. So I want to start with the rad. What has been to you the raddest part of the last year of Girls Gotta Work?
Honestly, we've done some like crazy cool shit, and I can't decide which is the raddest or the maddest. So I'm just gonna I'm gonna go with my gut and say the raddest thing we've done is our panel event.
Yeah, 100%.
Panel event. Well, it's hard because it's like we've done cool shit. Like, the raddest is definitely the event. Just, I think because we're coming off a high from that still. Like, yes, it was a month ago now, which is crazy that it was a month ago.
Right.
But like it's a checklist. Like, we've done an event. We've done like other like things like drag trivia. We
merch
at one.
Can you believe we did merch?
Right. That feels like forever ago.
I know.
And it really is not even been a year when we did merch. It's like crazy. Like, yeah, we've just done some rad shit.
Yeah, it's so amazing. And I think you're so right in that, like, we're still coming off the high of the panel event. So obviously that's going to be our raddest moment, because like that's what I had written down too. I was like, it was so great to connect in real life, and like as an extrovert I was like, fuck yes, like give me. Like, I'm so happy to be in person and chatting to everyone in person. But I think looking back, far out, even just the fact that we started a podcast, I feel like when we were having that chat of like, oh, sort of want to create a space for this, like, let's create a podcast. Podcasting felt so hard and so out of the realm of possibility. It was like, other people start podcasts. I don't start podcasts. Like, all of my favorite podcasters are so fucking skilled and they've been in the game for so long. And I was like, I can't do that. Like, I was so impostery about it. And I think that, like, going from that to then having a panel event at the end of sort of that year, like, we did all of those rad things in a year. That's crazy. And you're right. There's just been so many amazing things that have happened this year.
Yeah, it's just blows my mind.
Yeah. Do you also think like, I don't know, I think when we started the podcast, I was like, it'll just be like a little, a little fun thing to do every couple of weeks. And,
Yeah.
I don't know,
Yeah,
like,
definitely.
what did you
I
expect to come out of it, I suppose?
I think when I first got into business, I think like lots of us do, well, I don't know. Sometimes I realize that I dream really big. But when I first started like business in general, I wrote down like all the things I wanted out of what Halleigh Helper could be, but then all the other ideas that I've always had that I'm like, how do I make this happen? And they just didn't really align with what I was doing as Halleigh Helper. So as soon as we started the podcast and I got to see the avenue that it could be taking and see that the other dreams I had for other potential businesses now aligned with Girls Gotta Work, I was like, just like I can dream to the skies and make it happen kind of thing. So it's
Yeah.
like exciting to now see other dreams that I've had really get to come to fruition through Girls Gotta Work. And that just blows my mind. So yes and no. Like, no, I didn't realize when we were like on a Zoom call, like, fuck yeah, we can do a podcast. Like,
Why not?
who are we not to do one? And then get to see it like unravel and unfold and start and then connect it to other dreams. I'm like, yes, this is what it's meant to be. So it's like,
Yeah.
no, I didn't, but yes, I did. Like, I did,
Yeah.
but maybe it didn't look like Girls Gotta Work when I first thought about it.
Yeah. I think that's a great
Yeah.
point as well. As like, I think when we started, not that we were dreaming small, because like a podcast felt like it was dreaming big, like we were like,
Yeah.
fuck yeah, let's just start a podcast. Why not? Like that was the thing that was big. And now we're like, okay, podcast is like our comfort zone. Like we're comfy here. And now
Yeah.
it is like, what are the other dreams we can achieve through this amazing community we've built through this business?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it's so amazing. And I think like I want to chat more about our dreams for the next year a little bit later.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's cool to know that we've already, I think for me as well, like I think I dream big, but not quite as big. So I'm always like, yeah, let's just do it. And I don't, maybe it's more that I just don't realize that I'm dreaming big, because I'm always like, yeah, fuck it, why not?
Yeah.
Let's just give it a go. Like what can go wrong?
Well, that's the thing, because if you didn't think like that, some people are too scared to dream that big. And like, yes, it might not feel big to you, but it is like, it is big to others. And like just even buying the microphones and getting on the Zooms and figuring out how to upload podcasts and figuring out how to network as a podcast is like one thing that is really scary. And it might seem small, but it's not.
Yeah.
And I think because now we're kind of like, we got this.
Yeah.
It doesn't necessarily feel as big as it is. Like when I tell people I have a podcast, they're like, what?
Yeah.
You're so flash. I was like, yeah, I am.
I am thinking.
That's not how I go. I go, oh yeah, I have a podcast. I'm so timid about it.
Yeah. Like I have a podcast. What's it called? Oh, Girls Gotta Work. Don't listen to it. Yeah, but I think it is like, I think podcasting is just what we've created is all, I think, a huge achievement. But yeah, I don't know. I think it's like what we talk about in business when you've been in whatever it is you do for so long. You start talking about it using all like the language and the jargon and all of that. And you just sort of expect that other people are where you're at because you know it so intimately. So you can't imagine someone else not knowing what you know, or like not knowing the basics even.
Yeah.
That's sort of how I feel about everything we've created. It's like, yeah, we just had a panel event, like, and like that was fucking amazing, right? But it was like, yeah, like we did that.
You don't have a panel event?
Yeah. And then I think when we talk to people and they're like, oh, like I want to start a podcast, but I'm really scared. I'm like, go for it.
Yeah.
Like, why not? And I think, it's hard to sort of remember all of those fears that we had a year ago because I just don't have them anymore. Like I feel so comfortable where we're at now.
Well, I mean, let's talk about them.
Yeah. Our fears.
I think that is like a good segment into like
the bad.
What's been the bad?
Yeah.
Like what's been the bad? Because people might be listening to the podcast, like, oh, they've got it all figured out. Guys, we do not have it all figured out. I mean, definitely when we started, we did not. Even now, we don't always have it figured out. So
no.
What's been for you the baddest, like, and bad in a good way, guys? Not the baddest in like
bad bitch.
Yeah. This ain't no bad bitch segment. This is bad sad.
This is like bringing on the tears kind of bad. We'll get onto the bad bitch stuff later.
Yeah.
I think for me, and I know we spoke about it, well, I spoke about it a lot in the last episode, was just like when I was really struggling being a full-time business owner. I think
Yeah.
one thing that I know I spoke about a lot was that I really struggled running Scrunch. Like I really struggled
Yeah.
with, my motivation to do Scrunch. But I think what I didn't talk about it was how much it impacted my motivation to do anything related to business. Like there were a few months there, and like I know we've spoken about it, where you carried the team because I didn't have
Yeah.
the energy, I didn't have the motivation, I didn't have anything in me to dig into, like to just muster up the energy to do things. Like, I still did this, Instagram like content, and, I still did what I needed to do, I suppose. Like, but on a basic level, like I wasn't dreaming big. I wasn't
Yeah.
doing anything. And even that was like, okay. And like, I love podcasting, and it was like, okay, I have to record today.
Yeah.
Let's just get it done. And like, I hate that that's how I felt, but it was just how I felt.
Yeah.
And I think that was definitely the worst for me, because I think when you do something you love, and I truly love what we do with Girls Gotta Work, it's the worst feeling when you know you're in such a rut and you're in such a bad place in your life where you can't even enjoy that. Like you can't even enjoy
Yeah.
what you love doing. So I think for me, that was probably the worst part of the last year. But I suppose
Yeah.
it's not really like Girls Gotta Work, I suppose. Like it
Yeah.
was more just like
Yeah.
impacted my love for this
Yeah.
business for a couple of months, which, yeah, I think that was just tough. It was tough as well because, it was like I wasn't doing much, and then I felt bad because I was like relying on you a lot. And I
Yeah.
think, yeah, it was sort of just a spiral of like I have no motivation, and then I feel guilty because I'm not sort of pulling my weight, but then
Mm.
I don't have any energy, and then I'm going to continue to not pull my weight. So it was just like a
Yeah.
spiral. And yeah, I'm really fucking glad I'm out the other side. But yeah, it was tough
Yeah.
for a while there. I think that's probably, yeah, that's my worst.
I think it's important to talk about though, because we can love something so much. And this isn't just like on Girls Gotta Work. This is like everything that we do. I think there's always parts of everyone's businesses, everyone's lives, everyone's hobbies, everyone's loved ones. You hate them. You hate them.
Yeah.
It's hard. And that's not because you don't love them. It's
Yeah.
just because exactly what you're going through. Like it was a hard place in your life, in your season, in what you were going through, and you had to make the changes to fall in love with it again. And I think
Yeah.
that's important to talk about and note that yes, it was a bad time, but like you're coming through it, and you've found ways to work through that and go through that. That's important.
And I think you're right. Like the whole reason we started this was to sort of share that experience. And I think it's just one thing you don't see a lot is like people saying, yeah, like I don't like my business very much right now. Like because people, as soon as you say that, people will, or there's a concern that people will opt out. Like especially if you're service
or
based, if you're
discredit.
or do any of the thing. Like if I had said in the peak of that, like I didn't want to jump on the podcast today, I didn't want to record today. No, like everyone would opt out because they're like, well, her heart's not in it. And it's like, that's not 100% true either. Like my heart is in it. That's why I showed up. Like I still want to do this, but it's like I also
just tired. Like it's
I'm
normal.
tired. I want to go to sleep.
Feel like that.
I want to take a break from business.
Yeah, it's person to person when you want to talk about it. Like some
100%.
people are so brave to talk about it in the midst of it. And I think, yes, talk about it with who you need to talk about it. But whether you want to take that publicly on your Instagram, on podcasts, whatever that is, talk about it when you're ready. And you weren't ready to talk about it to the world, or, to the world, to our 500 listeners, whatever.
But also to like anyone really. Like I didn't tell anyone how I was feeling for so long because it was just hard. Like I didn't want to admit that that's how I was feeling.
Yeah.
So yeah. But anyway, enough about me. How about you? What has been the toughest thing for you? The baddest? Yeah, baddest. It's just
Mine
like not. It's not a good word.
Mine seems so small now compared to yours.
No, but like I've had a tough year. Like I've gone through a lot. This is not like my baddest would usually be like, I don't know, something like
stubbed my toe.
My coffee got cold during recording because I was having too much fun talking to you.
Oh, that's so dumb. The baddest in a bad way, not the baddest in a good way. It sounds so weird. We come up with it. Like
this is our language we chose to run with.
It's definitely the worst part of the last year was honestly starting because
Yeah.
I think I think if you're an OG or you've gone back and listened to out from the start,
Oh, I know where this is
we
going.
had the shittest quality sound,
It
which
was
is not great.
so bad. Oh my God.
There is like so many ways to do this well and cheaply and easily, and we opted for like a middle range version of those kind of on that scale. And some reason we just sucked at it, and our microphone sucked, and we like troubleshooted for friggin' hours, and it was still just shit.
So bad. Oh my God. I remember sitting on the floor in your office, just being like pulling my hair out, being like, why the fuck is this
Couldn't
not
figure it out.
working? We sent Rhett to Officeworks to get an adapter for us. Like, we were stressed. And because we were so, especially like first time, we were like,
Excited.
we were so excited. We had so much energy and we had so much to talk about. We actually fucking
Yeah.
prepped for the episode. Like, can you remember when we did that?
I know. And like we were like planned to do like 2 episodes back to back and film content and like do all this other stuff. I think we did manage to get through too,
I think
but
so. But
they're
like if
not
you go back
great.
and listen to them, the audio is awful. It's so quiet. And I remember like we got a few DMs being like,
Yes.
just a heads up, like your audio is really quiet. Like love the content. And
We
every
know,
time I'd go to
guys.
dig it, I know like it broke my heart. I was like, no, like we're working on it. And we ended up just having to like ditch our microphones and get new ones. And that
We
was
no, we went through 2 different kinds before we got the ones we have now,
that's
remember? So
true.
first the
That
issue
is
was
true.
they were too
Oh,
quiet and we couldn't figure that out. And
oh,
then
then the
we
static.
sent them back and got
Oh.
new ones and there was heaps of static and we couldn't figure that out. And then yeah, we finally were like, well, we're invested now. Let's just get the fancier ones.
And I think as well, because we were like, this is new, we don't know where this is gonna go. Like the OG mics we got were like $80 each. Like, very affordable.
Yeah.
And but these were only what, like 200?
Yeah, I think like 210 or maybe 197. I don't even know.
It's like around the
Yeah.
200 mark anyway. And it was like
Yeah.
when you're just starting out, you're like $200 seems like a lot for like microphones. Then you've also got like, headphones as well. And then the minute we did it and the minute it was just like it worked flawlessly. It was so easy. I was like, should have done
Yeah.
this from the start. But like it's a
I
learning
know, but
curve.
like some people record podcasts on their iPhone notes and it still sounds amazing. Like
Literally.
we could have done that.
Well, it's funny because I remember when we had our like launch strategy session with Cass,
Yeah.
and she literally said you just need like Apple headphones, like with the little like
With the
speaker
little
thing on
speaker.
the thing.
Yeah.
And she was like, and that's fine. Like tech is so good these days that you can literally use anything. And we were like, no, we'll do it properly. We'll get microphones.
What the fun times. It was
And
not
then
a fun
it
time.
was not a fun time. Oh, I'd almost like not forgotten about it, but I think I've repressed the fuck out of that.
Yeah. I've compartmentalized that issue.
Yeah. Oh God, the joys there. No, I completely agree. That was a tough
That
time.
was a bad time.
That was a bad time. Well, I'm dying to hear your maddest now because you said at the start you were tossing up which one was your maddest in terms of like which one was going to be your raddest, which one's going to be your maddest. So hit me with it.
Yeah.
What is it? I'm dying to know.
That I have a podcast. That we have a podcast.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's like a 2-layer this one. But so one podcast and then the domino effect to that is that people listen.
Yeah.
And
Oh
then
my
to
God.
that
I
is that
know.
we have a community of people that listen and the community that we're building.
And that like also joined us in person and gave us money
Right?
to come hang out with us and like others obviously in person. Like what
It's
the
like it
fuck?
just blows my mind. But I was at like a podcasting network event and I felt a little like imposter syndrome. I was like, there's going to be like so many Flash people there that have podcasts and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I'm just like a small fish in a humongous pond. And I was there and I was started talking to these 2 amazing girls and I was like, oh yeah, tell me about your podcast. And we were just talking back and forth. And they're like, oh my God, girls gonna work. I was like, yeah, that's like Maggie and Jordan. She's not here. They're like, we've listened to your podcast. I was like, what? Are you
So
serious?
cool.
Like obviously we get DMs all the time for people on our Instagram, but to like be out in the world and just like meet a random person that's like not even from Melbourne, like they're from like regional Victoria And they're like, oh my God, yeah, I listened to your podcast. Like, I just started my business a year and a half ago and I was listening to some of your episodes and it helped me so much. I was like, what? It was just so humbling and like so nice. And I was like, you listened to my podcast? What?
The minute you sent the voice note, because I couldn't come to the event. The minute you sent that, I was like, oh, we've made it.
It was just so nice. And like they've been doing their podcast similar time around us. Yeah, it was just like a little weird, like that someone had listened and like I met them in public randomly. Well, not I mean a podcast event, but still like
that's huge.
I think that's like been the maddest thing is like that I have a podcast paired with people paired with like how cool is the community that we're building and that we get to help people in business who felt like us.
Yeah.
And feel less alone. Like
that's
what?
so amazing. It's amazing that we're here. That's so cool.
What about you? What is like the maddest thing for you?
Well, so we've sort of done a bit of a switcheroo because that was amazing and my answer is like tiny compared to that. So a little bit of a different take on this. I probably should have gone first because that would have been lovely to end on. But no, so mine is mad in not a good way nor a bad way, but just like like I'm just a bit shocked. Like it just took me by surprise the most, I think, was the amount of like cold DMs and emails we get asking to be on the podcast. Like I find it wild because like I think when we were talking about starting to do guest stuff, we were like, it's gonna be so hard to get guests, but or like back in the day, like OG Girls Gotta Work days, we were like, we'll just start us because it's just gonna be easier than trying to get guests on and stuff. We've had so many cold DMs being like, if you need a guest or like, hey, can I be on your podcast? No like pitches, no like not none, right? There've been a couple amazing pitches, but some that were just like, hey, can I be on your podcast? And I'm like, you have no, like, you don't relate to our audience. You're not like, what the fuck? Like, we're not a good match.
Like Bitcoin traders. Like,
it's like, no, you can't. Like, you're not a good match. Our audience, like, are not going to be keen. You clearly haven't listened, especially before we started doing guest episodes. Like, the amount, and before we'd even decided that was an avenue we wanted to go down. The people were just like, hey, can I be in your podcast? I'm like, we're not a guest podcast. Like, we don't interview people. Like, we don't have guests on. Like, no.
My favorite is like when they like obviously follow Girls Gotta Work and then go to like either Hayleigh Help or Scrunch. Yeah. And then I get a cold DM that says, hi, Hayleigh Help. Like, no, not even like, oh yeah, hi, Hayleigh. Like, I love your podcast. Like, can I be a guest on it? I was like, you clearly don't listen because my name is Hayleigh. Like, Hayleigh Help is just my business.
It is.
Like, you don't listen.
Yeah. And I just think it's so wild. Like, I think as well, like, working in marketing, I sort of know the better way to pitch. Like, you warm them up a bit. You make sure that like you DM them a few times and you start conversations. And then when it does come to pitching, you pitch with like the topic you want to talk about, why it's relevant to the audience, what you can bring to the episode, to the podcast. Yeah. And I think just it's been so mad getting so many people who are just like, how about it? And like seriously, I'm all about shooting your shot. I am, but I don't know. It's just been nuts.
Know your audience.
Know your audience. Lessons learned, I suppose. But that's been the maddest thing. Like, it's so small, but it just continues to blow my mind that we get DMs being like, I come on your podcast, and I'm like, no, our audience is not interested in Bitcoin. I mean, if you are, like, tell us. But like, I couldn't give two shits, and I don't want to talk about Bitcoin for an hour. Like, it is not my dream.
Neither.
So that is probably all I've got for our rad, bad, and mad. Do we want to talk about our goals for the next year?
Yeah, let's jump in.
So, where are we taking this little business baby of ours? Because we've spoken about it, sort of broad strokes, but we're catching up, hopefully for a little biz retreat of our own in a couple of weeks to really map it out. But what are your thoughts? Hit me with that.
So first and foremost, guys, we have a website. We're so fancy.
We have a website. I can't believe it's taken us a year to get a website, to be completely honest, but I'm so stoked we got there.
Yeah, we did. We were like piggybacking off Hayleigh Helper's website for a while when we did like our merch launch, but it just wasn't like a priority because we had other things going on and,
And this is still side hustle for us. Like, this isn't our main source
yeah.
of income. So it's when we get time to do the things.
Yeah. So that's been exciting. So that is now live. So go check it out.
Yay.
We've got all our episodes there. We've got, so you don't have to cold DM us, a little section on there for guests who pitch to us. We want your ideas. We want more guests. So yeah, we definitely are mapping that out for the rest of the year and potentially next year what that can look like. So definitely don't slide into the DMs about it, but head to our website and check that section out. And yeah, there's other sections on there.
We also have a sponsor section. So as you will have heard throughout our March episodes, we are starting to take on sponsors. So I think a huge goal for us, and obviously all of our audience are biz girly, so you guys get it, that like monetizing this is important just to be able to continue to do it. Like, we love doing this and we want to hold the space. And I think I can speak for both of us when I say we'd probably continue to do it for free without getting paid, because we love it. And it brings so much joy to our lives to be able to host these events and connect with communities. So we're not going anywhere, but monetizing this is a really great way for us to sort of pour more money into events and like host them more and really have the security of like, we don't have to sort of fork out our own cash and then wait for the ticket sales to come. And like, it's just a bit easier for us to really dream bigger and to be able to create more community space and do more things with and for you guys. So I think that's one thing I was really excited about when I was writing the copy. I was like, not like, yes, I don't know, being paid to do this would be amazing. But I think as well, like just being able to like, I don't know, have the cash to do more and even more than we're doing is so exciting. So yeah, we have a few different packages on our website. If you are keen on being a sponsor, we have started a little bit low just to sort of test the waters and see what the vibe is. So if this is something you're looking at sort of tapping into, if you're looking at investing in a different kind of marketing for your business and you want to market to biz girlies, then go check that out on our website too. That's probably the page I'm proudest of. Like, I spent so much time on the copy and I'm so excited about sort of what all that can look like for us in the next year.
Yeah, I'm excited because it allows us to like talk about like I talked about it last episode, like facilitate conversation. We get to now help facilitate other businesses grow, and like that's exciting to me. Like we get to connect with other businesses and try and help them as much as they're helping us help them. So it's like help me help you kind of thing. So I'm like super excited. But yeah, definitely jump.
What was that?
Help me help. Did I say
you said help? No. I think
did I say the wrong way around?
No, I think to someone less tired than me, it would make sense. But I just heard like, help me, help us, help you, help. And I was like, what the fuck just happened?
Yeah. So help us help you.
Help us help you.
Yeah. Help us help.
Help us help you. Help us and we will help you more.
You. And head to the website and check that section out. We're super excited to be offering this. And it is like, also, we want to monetizing for Girls Gotta Work is such a big goal, but it's also like partly a bit impostery. It's like, oh, are we ready? Are we big enough? Like, is that the thing? So like, this is like such a big step. To try it. So it's super exciting to be like at a point where we're ready to be offering this. So it's like exciting.
I think I'm just really proud of us that we're both like, we are feeling a little impostery. We're like, who's going to pay to be on this podcast? It's a bit of a hot mess. We love it. Like, we love this hot messness for us. But yeah, it is a bit like, I don't know, there is a lot of imposter syndrome around it. And I'm just really proud of us that we're like, you know what? This is like, we're ready. Yeah, we're doing it anyway. And I think it's one thing I loved about both of us within this business is like, we're usually just ready to say yes to things and, you know, get started and get the ball rolling. And I think our motto is sort of, fuck it, why not? Which I love for us.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's exciting. So yeah, what else? Like, I mean, I think we have very aligned goals, but then I sometimes know that I dream a little bigger.
A little bit.
Like, I'm here to just like, let's talk about all the possibilities that I think we would like Girls Gotta Work to like go in, or like what else do you see for the year ahead?
More events. So as the resident extrovert, I need to see people in person more. It was just so nice. Like, and not just because I'm an extrovert and I love hanging out with people and being around people, but the energy in the room of our panel event was electric. Everyone was so happy to be there. There were so many great conversations that happened after as well.
Yeah.
Like, I know at so many events, as soon as the panel's done, everyone gets the fuck out of there. Like, no one sticks around. And yeah, people were like around until we got kicked out of our venue, which was, it was just beautiful to see. And I think not necessarily always hosting panel events, but, and I think this is something we're going to chat more about and explore of what other events we can bring to the table. But I think even just like monthly catch-ups and doing drag trivia, like when we did that last year, it was so much fun and everyone had such a good time just connecting and chatting and being around people who do understand what it's like to run a business. So yeah, I'd love to do sort of more small events, a few bigger events, but I think energetically and just from a planning perspective, like our panel event took a fair bit to plan. I think some smaller events more regularly, and then a couple of big events as well. Yeah, they're probably like what I'm most excited about potentially bringing. Yeah, what about you? What, like, agree? Do you have builds on that? Like, what else?
100%. I think my like ultimate, I mean, I love all the events, but I would love to do like a live podcast record. I don't know what that would look like. I don't know when that would be.
Interesting.
But like it could be something we do like maybe to celebrate our second birthday. I don't know.
Yeah.
But that I think like
towards.
I think that's like kind of feels right to try. I don't know how to do any of that, but we'll figure it out. So definitely, more events. I think building the online community more and more. So like doing online stuff as well. So definitely jump in our Facebook group, follow us on Instagram as to what's the space for all the things we're talking about. And also like more merch.
Yeah.
I feel it's right. I'm like, more merch. Watch the space, guys.
And also the fact that like when Cass walked into our event wearing our t-shirt, so did Carmen actually. I was like, yes, this is so cool.
Yes, she did.
I was like, yes, this is like our branding on stuff. And I think because you did such a beautiful job with the logo, Hayleigh. Like, it's so nice to see it around because it's beautiful and it's us. And I'm like, people just support us. How cool is that? I love it.
Yeah, it's super exciting. So definitely more merch related things.
So slide into the DMs if that is something you want and what kind of merch you want as well. Maybe chuck it in our Facebook group so that we can start a conversation about it. We can have a merch thread to talk about all the kinds of things you want to be wearing, carrying, drinking out of that have Girls Gotta Work on it. Yeah, I love it.
I mean, there's so many other things, but I don't know where, like, definitely this next year is like the year of events and the year of more community. And I know that that will like eventually evolve into something else that we've got some like little inklings of ideas, but don't know if I'm actually ready to share those. But definitely 2023 is the year of events. And merch.
And more podcasting. More chat.
And more podcasting. Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah, so the year ahead is super exciting, but honestly, we wouldn't be here without you guys listening to us. So thank you so much for having us in your ears for the last year. I'm just like all in my feels about it. Thanks, guys.
Thank you so much. I think as well as the resident hot mess, source of chaos, a bringer of total just weird energy for the year. I can't believe we have people who listen to our podcast still. So grateful for you guys. This year has been amazing. And I can't wait to see what comes next. And that's a wrap then. As always, we've loved being in your ears, sharing the highs and lows of running a business.
If you want to keep the party going, come join us on Instagram and TikTok at Girls Gotta Work Podcast. We are a small business, so if you're feeling extra kind, we'd love it if you could like, subscribe, and leave a review on your podcast app of choice.
And this podcast was produced by Good Chat Media, so go give them a follow if you loved the app.
Bye!